I love Michael Smith. Michael and I grew up on this here network, this here program at the same time. We've done countless shows together. What I love about Michael most is he knows himself, and Michael always, relentlessly, is willing to put in the work to grow. Can't wait to see what he does next at the Collaboratory. And remember that time when he thought he won a show, but didn't, and started his FaceTime? We love you, Michael.
Pardon the interruption. I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Poetry Day, Tony. I'm sure you've got something you'd like to share.
In fact, I do. Skies want to be blue, clouds give it grayness, but Earth always smells sweet, unlike Uranus. That's funny.
See, I remember
That's
when
funny.
you were funny.
That is funny.
When you were a young guy.
Well, I didn't write that
you
myself.
had a big red afro.
Yeah, I didn't write that
like
myself.
Bernie on Room 222. How's that for
You are
school?
really dating yourself.
You were funny then.
Yeah, Sally
red
Field
afro.
was on that show. This
was
is a
on-
long time ago.
It was a long.
Please stop. Long time ago. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the A's go out. Clayton Kershaw takes a seat, and Brandon Marshall wants to be heavyweight champ. But we begin today with another good Thursday night game. The Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks, both 3-1 in a divisional showdown. The Rams made the Super Bowl last year, but they got embarrassed last week at home by Tampa Bay 55-40. Meanwhile, the Seahawks were basically just coasting against the Cardinals. Wilbon, how important is tonight's game for the Rams?
I mean, it's important to after you get humiliated and give up 55 to go out and show that you're a team, but it's no more important than it is for Seattle. I mean, Seattle's been a relevant franchise much more recently than the Los Angeles Rams or the St. Louis Rams. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks have been in the consciousness of people who pay attention to football much more so than the Rams. So I'm not obsessed with the Rams or fixated on the Rams. But, yeah, you give up 55, and you're supposed to have the genius young coach,
Yep.
and all coaching trees, flow from you. Go out and recover. I don't know that they can recover on the road in Seattle.
So this is an important concept to me. If the Rams win this game, all is right, because it is so tough to go to Seattle and win, particularly on these night games. Seattle is 17-2 at home in primetime games under Pete Carroll and 8-1 on Thursday
So
night.
who do you expect to win?
I expect Seattle to win.
Me too.
But there's another way of looking at this. If the Rams lose, by how many? How do they look?
Right.
If they get blowed out
Yeah.
by a team that is not an offensive-oriented team, then there is significant trouble. And I think their trouble starts at the moment with Goff at quarterback.
Sure?
He's turning it over.
They gave up 55, and not all of it was on a short
no,
field.
I understand.
You got Aaron Donald. I don't want to see 55 on a team that's got Aaron Donald.
But I'm saying to you that Goff has 6 interceptions
He's giving it up a little
and
bit.
3 fumbles in
Yeah.
4 games, Mike.
Yeah.
That the opposition of the Rams, whoever they are playing, has the best starting field position in the NFL so far this year.
Yeah. Well, Seattle would take that too.
Sure.
I want to see if Russell Wilson, who a couple times early got away with it once, didn't once, was in a position where it looked like he needed to carry his team. And maybe Seattle's actually better than that. And they do get up for these games. And Pete Carroll has a way, it seems,
Yeah.
as a team goes
Yeah.
on, of really rallying them. So if you ask me, who am I more interested in storylines tonight? For me, it's Seattle.
The one thing that could make me most interested is if Todd Gurley actually played. If he didn't just carry
need
the
him.
ball 5 times.
Tony,
if he played.
Goff can't be expected to throw it 68 times.
No.
Gotta get rid
Gurley,
of that.
where is Gurley?
Did you suffer a bump on the head?
No.
And forget?
No.
That your Nationals are playing game 1?
I don't
Divisional
write
playoff
the order of this
series?
show.
This
I
other
don't.
went with football
I
first.
don't.
Like they're playing the Dodgers in L.A. tonight.
Yeah, I know.
The headline story today has nothing to do with
Shout
you
out to
boys.
Charlie Steiner, who's broadcasting
That's
the game.
that's good. We like Charlie. But the headline story has everything to do with the Dodgers, who've decided to start second-year sensation Walker Buehler ahead of Clayton Kershaw to open the series. Tone, would you start Buehler ahead of one of your all-time greats who did go 16-5 in the regular season?
So there's people who are writing in L.A. that this feels like the changing of the guard. Because we have accepted for many years that Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher in baseball. He's an automatic Hall of Famer. He's lost a certain amount of velocity off his fastball. He is becoming a different kind of pitcher. Clearly the Dodgers feel. Because in a 5-game series, you're saying the guy we go with at 1, we're going with at 5. So they must feel that Buehler is that guy, even though there are some statistics that are interesting to me. He has given up 7 runs this year in 12 innings to the Nats. and he has failed to pitch more than 5 innings in 3 of his last 5 starts, and his September ERA is 4.50. So
why even go with him in game 2?
I'm a little surprised.
Why not go with Hyunjin Ryu, who has been lights out at Dodger Stadium?
Those are Bueller's stats. No, those are Bueller's stats. That's what I'm saying to you. What surprises me is that Bueller doesn't come all the way up here right now for me.
Well, but Kershaw has a history in the playoffs.
Not that great.
Not being great.
Not that great.
And so this is, Tony, part of this is why I've said to you, I know the Dodgers have been great throughout the regular season. But now we start to look microscopically, and you don't need analytics. You can look at basic numbers which tell you trends, and you can search those numbers back over time in postseason play with Clayton Kershaw, even when he was partnered with Zach Greinke and they were at the top of the rotation. And you can say, you know what, I'm willing to try something else here. So I don't know. This is a dilemma.
Mike?
I don't know if I was making that decision who I would start in game 1.
Mike, if the Nats were in a similar position, there would be a drumbeat for Strasburg ahead of Scherzer.
Well, there was, even in the wild card game.
Because in the most recent months, he has been a better pitcher. The Dodgers must feel that in the most recent months, Bueller has been the better pitcher.
How do you feel about your team going into tonight's game?
I want them to win. I think the Dodgers are a really good team. I think it's a tough ask.
The Dodgers are a better team?
I think it's a tough ask.
But
they're not great against lefties, and Corbin is pitching tonight, so we'll see. The Rays beat the A's last night. Do you see how I did that, Rays and A's? Mm-hmm. Oakland is now 1-15 in their last 16 games where they could have advanced in the playoffs, 1-15. And as cash poor as the A's are, they lost to a team that spends even less money on players and plays on an even worse field. Everything about Tampa Bay says second banana. Wilbon, is the bigger story the Rays' success or the A's failure?
It's probably the Rays' success. It probably is. And they just seem like they have a chip on their shoulder, which is what you want the wild card team to have when they get in the playoffs, because they got to make a long run. You got to play these road games. There's a lot of pressure on you. You know you're playing teams that everybody thinks are better. But I find the A's sort of irresistible now, like a train wreck. It's like in the A's have other history. The A's have great history. The A's have won
if you want to go way back.
Championships. Yeah, but even the Bash brothers, I know they lost 2 out of 3, but they won one
late 80s,
with La Russa, early 90s.
Yeah.
So it's not like the A's are coming from a place of 100 years of futility like the Cubs. They're not.
Right, that's right.
Yet, you look at what's happened now. I talked about this yesterday, Tony. I mean, just in the last 19 years, you know, they've had all these chances and they fail. I mean, I think in some ways, what do you do if you're the A's? What do you do differently now?
I have no idea, because they make the playoffs. And I think that is to be applauded.
And they've lost to an assortment of teams. There's no trick. They've lost to Detroit. They've lost to the Yankees. They've lost to
I don't know.
Boston.
In one-game things, I think you basically throw records out because they're just one-game deals.
But they've had series.
I'm almost fascinated by the Rays, because last night in the lineup, I knew one guy, Tommy Pham. I didn't know anybody else. The guy who hits it out,
because his days.
The guy who hits it out twice.
Diaz.
He hadn't gotten a hit since July 22nd.
He hadn't been out there.
Yandy Diaz. Don't tell me you knew who he was. Don't tell me that, because you did not know who he was.
I don't.
So, I mean, while I find the A's lack of success in the playoffs sort of remarkable, I look at Tampa and I go, how does this happen?
But you know what the worst part is? It's that none of
the Astros are going to kill him.
You would think so.
Yeah.
We got to look at that dump, hideous ballpark on national TV in October. You know, Major League Baseball made the Cubs get lights. They said, if you don't get lights, you have to go play somewhere else. You go to Milwaukee. You go play in Indianapolis.
So what do you want them to do in Tampa?
Either get a real ballpark or we make you play somewhere else. We'll make you play in Orlando in a spring training park.
And that would only bother 5,000 people a night because nobody goes.
Tony, we're going to end this segment like we used to all the time in the early years of PTI with a boxing story. Aren't you excited?
I am.
But this one has a twist and comes from an interesting source, former All-Pro NFL receiver Brandon Marshall. Let's listen.
About to do the unthinkable. 13 years NFL, 35, phenomenal shape, just went 24 rounds. I'm about to do the unthinkable. Heavyweight champion in the world. A lot of people didn't try and failed. I promise you, Joshua, Wilder, Ortiz, Fury, all them boys, y'all can get it. I'm telling you. Y'all not tough, y'all not strong. Where I come from and what I've been doing in my life, bro, I'm built for this. I promise you that. I'll see you next May.
That's a great post.
It is.
With all that said, are you afraid or excited to see what happens next?
I'm excited to see Brandon Marshall get punched in the mouth.
Oh, don't say that.
Because as Mike Tyson...
I like Brandon Marshall.
So what? As Mike Tyson said accurately, everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
You're old enough to remember two of the greatest athletes of all time, Will Chamberlain and Jim Brown, who said they might like to try boxing. They threatened to become the heavyweight champion of the world, but they never went in the ring because they're smart enough to know...
They might have trained for a minute and a half.
Brandon Marshall, great football player. There's not
6'4", 230.
There's not a single skill of being a wide receiver that prepares you for boxing except running away. That's all there is.
Say this. I know Brandon Marshall, and I like him a lot.
That's fine. You think he's got a chance?
So if you ask me, if you turn that question, are you afraid or excited?
You'd be afraid.
I'm afraid. Because what is happening? We know hockey players and football players who thought they were going to get in the ring. They go out in here, suburban D.C. here somewhere,
hockey
Virginia,
players
Maryland.
actually fight.
They fight. And what happens to them when they get in against boxers? Someone has to wake them up.
That's right.
In the middle of the ring. No. Nothing prepares Brandon Marshall for this.
No.
Nothing in football prepares you for being a fighter.
He's an offensive player. He's not even a defensive player, which is a more
and we're not
physical
questioning
route to this.
Their toughness.
No.
Boxers, they can kill people. Their their fists are licensed weapons. Stop.
Me personally,
Brandon, stop it.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work.
Stop.
Let's take a break. Coming up,
please.
Would it really hurt Dwayne Haskins' confidence to start him against the Patriots? We're going to ask Steve Young.
We'll also ask him whether a defense like the Chicago Bears, the Monsters, can still put actual fear into a quarterback.
I saw him working out. Nobody was punching him. No one's punching him.
You don't.
Hi, I'm Sage Steele. Coming up on SportsCenter at 6 Eastern, we'll tell you what Goff, Gurley, and the Rams must do to win tonight in Seattle. Plus, dissecting the Minnesota misery with Stephon Diggs trade rumors and a struggling Kirk Cousins. Plus, Joel Embiid reveals the big loss that the Sixers must overcome this season. SportsCenter with Kevin Nagandi right after PTI.
So the thing no one tells you about tampons, you gotta change sizes to match your flow. Only Tampax Pearl makes 5. So if it hurts to remove, go down a size. Leaking? Go up 1. And every size has our leak guard braid for backup protection. Find your flow combo with Tampax.
Has this ever happened to you before? Your own government trying to kill you?
Nah, that's new.
Critics are raving. Gemini Man is something you need to see to believe.
I'm you, only better.
Ang Lee delivers a true breakthrough for action cinema.
You have 12 minutes to run.
What the hell is all of this?
Now you have 11 minutes.
Will Smith shines twice.
I'm the best. Hell no.
Gemini Man, October 11, rated PG-13.
Football is back at Dave & Buster's with all-you-can-eat wings, plus a $10 game card for just $19.99 every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Yeah, you heard me right. All-you-can-eat wings plus a $10 game card for just $19.99. Watch the games and play the games only at Dave & Buster's.
There's something I want to show you. Are you curious? Don't care about the people that be furious. We were made for each other, and that is precious. They're just jealous. They're just jealous of the wind in my hair as I drive my car. It makes me feel free.
The 7-passenger Infiniti QX60. Luxury should be lived in.
4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month.
Boop! That makes 10 million and 1 smiles on Cricket.
There's 4 of us, so.
10 million and 5.
4.
Point is, you got a deal. Join over 10 million customers smiling on Cricket.
Glad to have you with us on College Game Day. We'll find a Home Depot. I'm really feeling this vibe right now. I love this. Look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. Great crowd. This is awesome.
I can't believe it.
What? That our new house is haunted by Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Hey, Jill. Hey, Kurt. Movies? I'll get snacks.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on our car insurance with Geico.
I got snacks. Ooh, I got popcorn. I got caramel corn. I got kettle corn. Right.
Am I
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Russell Wilson is fearless, and AWS has proof. It's second and goal, and the only thing coming for Russell is an 800-pound pain brigade. He's forced to scramble like eggs in the morning, running crazy fast. Nobody is open. Catch probability is under 25%. And Russell Wilson is a monster.
Rawr.
Next Gen Stats, powered by Amazon Web Services. AWS is how.
Like heaven for a mattress.
I will never love another human more than I love my bed. Life is too precious not to be sleeping on the comfiest mattress ever.
This is the best night's sleep we've had in years.
With over 50,000 five-star reviews, it's no wonder Casper is America's #1 rated mattress.
ABC Sunday.
What do you do in your bowling ball cleaning business?
I ask, would you like your balls polished or clean?
I had that same job at about 22.
Kids say the darndest things. Premieres Sunday on ABC.
Week 5 of the NFL season kicks off tonight, which makes it a great time to welcome back one of my favorite former teammates, Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young. And Steve, we'll start with this. It's local for us. Dwayne Haskins, would it really hurt his confidence to play him against the Patriots? Or isn't that his job to go out there and be the quarterback?
Yeah, but you could do some serious damage, Tony. I mean, in the end, you don't play well. It's not like it's just a locker room full of guys that are upset with you. It's the whole town. And you get overwhelmed with it. So in my mind, you do need to protect young players from getting just abused. Now, I was 2-14 my first year. I think Troy Aikman was 1-15. Peyton Manning's 1-15. Like, if you said, Dwayne, you're going to be in there, and you're going to take your beatings, and we're going to get beaten up, but we're going to stay with you, and we believe in you in the long run, and you can help him through it. But there's so much disassociation right now with the Redskins, the owner, the coach, and everything else. I don't think they can say that in a concerted way to him, and then he has to take all that himself. I think you could do some serious damage.
I'm going to interrupt the love fest, the weekly love fest we have with quarterback and the quarterback position, Steve, to ask something about which you are also an expert. You played at a time when you faced Lawrence Taylor and Richard Dent and Reggie White, and I know it's a different time, but the Bears defense looked so violent and ferocious on Sunday. Are we past the point where a defense can put the fear of God into a quarterback and discombobulate him, or can it still happen?
I remember Jimmy Ray, my offensive coordinator at Tampa, before we played the 86 Bears, he says, hey, be careful out there. You can get hurt. Like make a read, watch the blitz. No, you can get hurt. Young players can get overwhelmed with fear. And you've seen it in their eyes. They glaze over. They go to the sideline. The coach says, what did you see out there? Did you see the safety? He's like, no. Did you see anything? No, I am completely blinded by my fear and anxiety that I feel. The older players don't have the fear. They're just frustrated because they can't do their job. That's what that happens. As I got older, it's like, look, I need to protect. I mean, I'm not afraid of these guys, but like, give me a second. So but the young guys, they just wipe it out. Everything's it's just gray matter in the back of their mind. That's white noise. They don't know what's going on.
Are these Bears good enough to?
Oh, stop with the Bears.
I want to know.
God,
sorry, I don't tell you to stop with the quarterbacks. Steve, they could be the story of the year. Are they that good? Throwback good?
Yes. And we've seen defenses recently. Remember that Denver ran the table with Peyton Manning couldn't even make his arm go forward, and they won the Super Bowl because of that defense. So you've seen that. It's not the rules are against them. Time against them. Effort. More kids want to play offense today. Finding great defense is not easy, but clearly they can still be put together and can be ferocious.
So we will get off the Bears now that you got.
Yeah, let's go back to another quarterback.
We will.
Which bum you want to go to now? Which mediocre quarterback you want to ask about now?
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins says that he doesn't see criticism of himself or the team unless friends text it to him. That is hard for me to believe. Is it possible to completely tune out the sentiment like that?
No, not in a town like Minneapolis with a focus on the Vikings or any big town, any NFL town, to be honest with you. You can be in line getting bread at the grocery store and someone will say something about Kirk Cousins. You turn on the radio, you can be listening to easy listening. And right between the songs, all of a sudden the guy's, hey, we got a little problem with Kirk Cousins. You're like, is there any place to hide? And I've experienced it back in the day. There is no place to hide. You will hear about it, even amongst relatives, people that you live near, you live in an apartment, you're going to hear it through the wall. Kirk Cousins, blah, blah, blah. You're like, geez, can I just have a break? No, you are not protected from it.
Okay, this is off book, but I got to ask you this. Do you remember in your prime, you had to play a big game in San Francisco, like a Monday night game, and a woman calls up on like the popular radio show and says she hopes you break your leg. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that specific ones, but I do remember getting the box from New Orleans, and it was some address, and I'd open it up, and there was a voodoo doll with pins in my left arm, all over my left arm. I'd get it every time we played New Orleans. I'm like, does that work? I was asking my guys, is this something I need to worry about?
That's great.
All right, I'll get back on scripted for a second. 5 of the 8 new NFL head coaches have yet to win a game. I don't want to say we're getting a trend here, but what do you see that is necessary to make for a good young head coach these days?
Well, it's the same in many ways. It's gotten more so this way that you have to have great EQ, right? Emotional quotient, where you understand human beings and the human condition. And you can speak and have many levers and sticks to handle, carrots and sticks to handle each individual player individually. You can talk to the whole team and inspire them. You can inspire each player. The guys that really do a great job of that, the Andy Reids, through the Mike Holmgren, through the Bill Walsh kind of tree, all of those guys that are spread out, the Doug Petersons, those are guys that understand the human condition. And they also, by the way, can play great offense, which is what you have to do. Head coaches into the future, to me, I would never hire anyone but an innovative, young, human-skilled, offensive coordinator as my head coach, and then find a defensive coordinator to go make a Chicago Bears defense and move on. That's how I would handle it.
Tom Brady wears 25-year-old shoulder pads. In your experience, is that weird?
No, he might have mine. I had my BYU shoulder pads that fit just right, and it wasn't about protection at quarterback, especially today. Tom, I would never take them off now because you're not going to get hit, but it doesn't matter. It's just how they felt. And I love those shoulder pads. I wore them all the way to the end in 1998. I never wanted to change because it's just and I know Tom feels the same way. The biggest mistake I made was I copied Jim McMahon in that long face mask. And as I went pro in Tampa Bay, I took it off with Joe Montana, didn't have it. And I turned to the right, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't hit my shoulder pads anymore with this stupid face mask. So the face mask was the problem. The shoulder pads were always okay.
This is so great. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you,
as always, Steve. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
You guys are the best.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Mets dumped their manager, but was he really to blame?
And Stephon Diggs appears to want out of Minnesota? Really?
By the way, Steve Young saying he would never hire a defensive coordinator. Guys all over the country are going, I hope he's not a GM. If I'm a defensive guy, I hope he's not a GM.
So the thing no one tells you about tampons, you gotta change sizes to match your flow. Only Tampax Pearl makes 5. So if it hurts to remove, go down a size. Leaking? Go up 1. And every size has our leak guard braid for backup protection. Find your flow combo with Tampax.
Football is back at Dave & Buster's with all-you-can-eat wings plus a $10 game card for just $19.99 every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Yeah, you heard me right. All-you-can-eat wings plus a $10 game card for just $19.99. Watch the games and play the games only at Dave & Buster's.
While America celebrated the fall of Prohibition, Jim Beam didn't raise a single glass. He wanted his first drink to be of his own bourbon. He didn't have much money, but he did have a few friends, people who were raised the right way. Over 120 days, they rebuilt the distillery. And while their names might not be on our bottle, it's because of them we can raise this bourbon today. Jim Beam, raised right.
Now at Domino's, we're more than just hand-tossed pizza for $7.99. We're $7.99 gluten-free crust, $7.99 handmade pan crust, $7.99 Brooklyn-style crust, and $7.99 crunchy thin crust, too. Carry out 3-topping pizzas on any of Domino's 5 crusts for just $7.99 each.
Rated T to M.
Heavy shades of night are falling. It's twilight time. Out of the mist, your voice is calling.
The rules of aging are changing. New jobs at any age.
Crushing it at every stage. Numbers don't define us. 25, 45, 65 is a state of mind.
Dreams to seize, more opportunities, disrupting aging. Behind all this changing is AARP, opening doors for you, for me. Too old, too young, nuh-uh, we're in this as one. So let's take on today and every day with AARP, real possibilities.
4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month.
Boop! That makes 10 million and 1 smiles on Cricket.
There's 4 of us, so...
10 million and 5.
4.
Point is, you got a deal. Join over 10 million customers smiling on Cricket.
Coursera is liberating because it let me change my whole life.
Welcome to Coursera, career-advancing courses and degrees from universities like the University of Illinois, Yale, and the University of London, 100% online.
It allows you to get a high-quality degree at a rate that you can afford.
I'm now a sort of full-stack developer, and I've got skills that I know are in demand.
Join Coursera for free at Coursera.org. Coursera, your course to success.
In a wild turn of events, animals are demanding Jewel not test on humans. Mario?
No one knows the long-term effects of juuling, so any human who uses one is being used as a lab rat. Thank you.
Let's hear from Doug the Pug and his fellow protesters.
I will never stop fighting Jewel. Or the mailman.
Nicotine is trapping humans in a grueling cycle of addiction. Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Cupcake. Fact, no one knows the long-term effects of juuling. Do you?
This is Chime, a mobile bank account and debit card. With Chime, there are no hidden fees, so I never have to worry about overdraft or monthly fees. Chime also helps me grow my savings automatically. My purchases are rounded up and added to my Chime savings account, helping me to save without even thinking about it. And I can even get my paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. It's banking the way it should be.
Start banking with Chime today at chime.com.
Happy time, people. Happy 67th birthday, Bruce Arians. After a brief retirement in Flingwood Television, Arians got back on the coaching horse with Tampa Bay this season. Many people think his #1 task is to whisper in the ear of Jameis Winston. So far, it seems to be working. After a 3-interception game in the opener, Winston has 8 touchdowns and 2 picks since. Big test coming this Sunday at division rival New Orleans.
That's a big game.
Yes, it is.
For divisional purposes. You beat New Orleans there. You got to
Who you like?
Good about
Who do you like?
I like the Saints at home. I do.
Happy anniversary, Miguel Cabrera. On this day 7 years ago, the Tiger slugger became the first player in 45 years to win the Triple Crown. That was the first of 2 consecutive MVP seasons for Cabrera. In that season, he had 44 home runs, 139 RBI. And to show you how people fall off a cliff, in his last 3 seasons, Cabrera has only 31 home runs and 141 RBI.